Alright, so I picked up this fantastic car this week, and it looks so nice from a distance. But when you get up close, I wonder if this will show up good on camera here. The paint is horrific. Just completely destroyed. Some sort of weird grease here. Every inch of this paint. So we're gonna give it a good wash, and then we're gonna do some paint correction on it. I have already done the interior. So the interior had that weird dealership smell. I don't know how to explain it. But all used cars I've bought had the same smell. So it's probably some sort of Armor All product that they're using. But I stripped every surface down and put leather conditioner on it and put in a new steering wheel. So it smells and feels brand new inside. So super happy with that. Now we got to tackle this outside. So luckily it's a pretty small car. Shouldn't take super long, but let's get to it. So I like to do a foam wash so the soap kind of sits on the paint a little bit longer than just water to help kind of break up some of the things that are more stuck on. Is it super necessary? I don't know, but it definitely looks cool, so check it out. Next, I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to scrub all the emblems and inside of any small cracks and crevices like the gas cap to knock loose some of that dirt that the sponge won't get on its own. Alright, next we're going to rinse it off before we do the 2-bucket method, which we're going to have 1 clean soapy water and 1 rinse bucket. Even though it's almost clean at this point, you will be amazed at how much extra dirt you pull off that gets trapped in that sponge, and you don't want to keep putting it back onto the paint. All right, so the paint is now clean, but we still have a lot of contaminants in the clear coat. Okay, usually what I do is I'll use a quick detailer and run the clay bar over it, but today I'm trying to remove as much as possible, so this actually will apply a little bit of like a sealant coat, and I don't want that at all. So I'm gonna just use the soap that's in the bucket there for lubrication, and then we're gonna pull off as much of the contaminants as we can, and we'll see how it goes. Let's go check it out. So the clay bar here is surprisingly clean. Usually you have some black contaminants and stuff. I do pick up a whole bunch of them later on going down the side of the car. But the hood was actually pretty clean. I didn't feel a lot of bumps and jaggedness in the paint. So you can put on a nitrile glove and run it up and down the hood, and if it feels like you're snagging on stuff, that means that you got a bunch of stuff in the paint. And I kind of just keep running my hand across since I am going to be polishing it. I don't really need to worry about wearing a glove at this point. All right, so we are in the garage. I have taped off this emblem because it does have a rubber coating. It's not a coating, it's like a rubber piece that sits underneath the emblem. So I don't want to get any of the polish and make it white. So I've taped everything off just to make sure we protect it. I'm gonna hit the hood first and see how it goes. And it's much harder to tell in here how bad the paint is. It actually looks decent after all that cleaning, but you can see that it's not perfect, right? So we'll hit it, then I'll bring it back out into the sun so we can see how much or if there's any difference. So I'm gonna be using, this used to be called HD speed, now it's just called 3D speed. So this is a 3-step in one, so 3 in 1. It is a correction glaze, a polish, and a protection. But after I'm done, I'm gonna actually remove the protection and put some ceramic coating on it to make it a little bit better. Well, it's a nano coating, it's not really ceramic, it's a reload. I like to use that because it doesn't stay as long, but it does really well still, and you can reapply it after about 3 months or so when you do another wash in the clay, just to give it a little bit more attention and stuff. So anyway, we're gonna do this right here. This has worked well before, so we'll see how it works on the Porsche. I don't know how hard the clear coat is. Some cars have really soft clear coat, and some have super hard clear coats. So I'm gonna start with a very light pad and see if we cut at all, or if I need to go with a more abrasive pad like this hexagon high cutting pad here, or medium cutting pad. So the directions say put 4 to 5 dime-sized globs, I guess, on here. And one thing is you need to have plenty of lubrication, but you don't want to overdo it either. You don't want this to be like sloppy. So this actually, it's quite a little bit goes a long way. So start with, you know, a small amount, and if you notice that you're not seeing any of the product as you're buffing, go ahead and add a little bit more. Also, don't do huge parts. Don't do the entire hood right away. So I actually broke the hood into 4 sections, about a 2 foot by 2 foot, you know, give or take, as I was polishing here. And as you're polishing, you want to go slow with a medium amount of pressure. Don't push super hard, but you also don't want to let the tool kind of jump around. So I'm putting just a slight bit of pressure there. You can see the foam pad is just barely compressing some. As you are doing your buffing, you want to overlap as you go, kind of like if you were spray painting or clear coating something. You want to do like basically half of an overlap as you go down, and that's what I'm doing here. So I do about 4 passes. I stop here, you know, just to check how it's going, because this is the first panel. But it turned out, I was talking about if the paint was hard or soft. I would definitely say this clear coat, not the paint, well, I guess the paint too, but the clear coat is definitely on the softer side. It's not like super duper soft, but it is, I would say it's more soft to medium compared to some of the other paints that I have worked on. So getting rid of the scratches was not very difficult, but also the downside is it's going to be pretty easy to reintroduce scratches again. So you know, just keeping that in mind in the future. So what I'm doing now, since I don't have the sun outside, since I'm inside obviously, I'm trying to shine the light at different angles to see if I can introduce any glares, so I can see if there's any scratches left. I did find just a few, but the paint feels very smooth. So I do end up going over this area one more time with a total of 4 passes, and I do that for the entire car. I also didn't wipe off all of the product. You can kind of see around the emblem there. It was just a quick wipe to see, but what a huge improvement. It looks almost like glass already. Alright, so right here, you can see all this white. I can't even feel it. I don't know what it is. I clay barred and everything. I feel it a little bit here. So I think I'll be able to buff it out. I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Stay tuned. Alright, so see it a little bit still, much better. We're gonna hit it again. But yeah, that's a huge improvement. Alright, so I didn't show you the whole process of the entire car because it's exactly the same as the hood, just repeat it over and over again. Biggest thing is take your time, don't push, make sure you're not turning the machine on its side, because that's a way to introduce those ghosting or holograms into the paint. So let's take a look and see how it turned out. Alright, is it perfect? It wasn't ever gonna be. This is a 2011, but it's close. Yeah, it's not gonna get much better than that. Very happy with this. Worth the 4 hours I just spent. But yeah, man, love it.